What's up, guys? Pastor Rob here, back with another reaction video. As usual, I'm joined by my son, Gage.
What's up?
And as usual, we're going to listen to a song requested by you guys in the comment section of our videos and analyze it from a biblical perspective. Keep in mind, we're examining this song as an individual piece, unless otherwise specified. So this is not an endorsement of the song, the artist, or the genre as a whole, but an attempt to create discussion and encourage discernment while listening to music. For additional resources related to the channel, including additional commentary, merch, or to learn more about us and our mission, visit PastorRobReacts.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We post almost daily there. Lots of educational material, fun stuff, some behind the scenes, so join us over there. Links to that and more down in the description of this video. Today's reaction is one I've been awaiting for, have I not?
Mm-hmm.
I have been. This is going to be Trilogy by Silent Planet. Now, it came out, I think, on Valentine's Day, and I was out of town. I've been out of town quite a bit the last couple months, and I've been avoiding listening to it, doing my best. I have my phone on mute while I'm flipping through stories because everybody's sharing clips of the video, so I haven't even heard a hi-hat or a snare or anything of this song. So I'm really excited to get into it. It's a brand new release for them called Trilogy, and that's also the name of the tour they're currently on, which we're trying to catch one of the dates, but most of them are pretty far from us. So come to Florida, Silent Planet. Come to Florida again so we can enjoy this song live. So enough said. I'm getting into this thing.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
You excited? You excited as I am?
I don't think anyone is. I think this is the epitome of a Silent Planet fanboy.
Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, not a fanboy. I really like them a lot, but not a fanboy. Okay, maybe a fan. I like their music. All right, let's play. Already like it. It's good. It's great. I've already got goosebumps. I didn't even start it. Yes! What a way to start it. Gosh. Hey!
That's really good.
Of course it is. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
I love when they combine the singing too. Drums are sick. Wait for it to go hard. It's got to.
it's always red. The
Building.
static in my head, it's always red.
I like that.
The static in my head, it's always red. The static in my head, it's always red. The static in my head.
Hey! Fuck, boys!
Return to the hands of time. There's nothing human in this realm of wide. Stay still. That's a noise defines us. Stay still. That's a noise defines us.
That's crazy.
Wow. Hey, you know what? I'm doing it. I don't care. Here it is. This is their Redux album. That song was so good. I'm just giving this away. It's not on the. It's not. This song's not on here.
Oh, okay.
But there'll be in the description of the video how to enter to get this record. It's yours. You can have it. I think anybody who's heard that song is going to be immediately a fan, and they need to enjoy some more of their discography. So this is yours. It's a beautiful colored vinyl. Enter in the description of the video. Wow, what'd you think? You're a fanboy now too?
Yeah, that was great,
Dude,
There's a lot of
wow.
variety,
Wow.
dynamics.
Wow.
I like the part where it built.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
That was unusual for Garrett. I haven't, and my limited exposure to them and listened to their all their albums. You ever
Yeah.
heard him do that sort of, I don't know what he was doing, sort of a singy, talky thing? He does a lot of the talky
Reminded me
thing.
of Deftones.
That Deftones, exactly what hit my
I
head.
can't think of the particular song, but I know there's a lot of songs where they'll like repeat it, but like they'll repeat a line as it builds.
Exactly what he did there. And everything. It was so chaotic. At the same time, very orderly. He was bouncing between this sort of reality of sickness and this virtual reality and this connectedness of all these wires pulling people every way in the video.
Yeah.
Man, all right. I'm excited. God, I just gave away my record, so pretty excited. Well, okay, yeah, again, enter in the description. Well, the song, I've been... Whew, man, that was overwhelming. That was good. That was really good. I've been excited to hear the song, but at the same time, really anxious because I know what the song is about.
Okay.
Garrett shared on Instagram that, and probably some other outlets, but I saw it on Instagram that he said, I wrote these lyrics while I was in a mental hospital, all in one go. It's about my experience of anxiety and the events that preceded my hospitalization. The events that threw me and the band into a place of uncertainty. But we are still here. I'm beyond thankful that we are all still making music together. And another place, I don't know if it was the same article in one of his stories, he said it's about his time at the mental hospital, but also him adjusting to life, becoming human again, so to speak, or trying to feel human.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm anxious to hear this because I knew it was an opportunity for me to share my story, and I've been kind of wrestling with that because it's not, I'm not as public and out front. It's not as cool for a pastor to have issues like that in their past as it is for a metal artist. But the reality is, I know exactly what he's talking about. So if we can take some time, I want to tell a little bit of my story here for you guys. I think it might be similar to his. So I struggled with anxiety as a kid throughout. I really remember it hitting a head after I got out of high school. A little bit in high school here and there, but just social anxiety, peer pressure of fitting in and stuff like that. Probably everybody dealt with that. But when I moved out and the pressures of life started hitting me, had a business at the time. I had employees, was married, new house, a dog. All this stuff was weighing on me, all these bills. We were renovating our home, and I was experiencing pretty major anxiety symptoms. Definitely lots of uncontrollable thoughts, and my mind was just constantly racing, and I couldn't sleep well. So I went to the doctor hoping to get some of what I had in high school, which was a mild controlled released Xanax, if I remember correctly. And it didn't make me feel like anything. Just calmed me down just a little bit. And that's what I was hoping to get. But she asked me a bunch of questions and kind of half-heartedly asked me the questions. She had a little brochure or something she was asking me the questions from, and they weren't very clear to me, but I was answering them as I thought they should be answered. Partly because I just wanted the medicine. Like, let me get the medicine. Yeah, sure, whatever. The other part was because, like, for example, one of the questions was, do you like to spend money? Sure, I do. I was young.
Yeah.
I had a business.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah, I was making a lot of money. I was able to kind of just spend how I wanted to at that time.
Yeah.
And that was unusual in my life because I never really had money prior to that. So here I am able to actually do some things I wanted to. I wasn't like rich, but I was certainly doing pretty good for my age. And she didn't finish the question of saying, do you spend money sort of in a manic type of way? But anyway, several of the questions were like that. They weren't fully represented, so I answered them, and I got my medicine, and she gave me a super strong medicine that was new to the market at the time. Can't remember the name, but it was really, really strong. In fact, they actually diagnosed me as bipolar 2 based on this little 10-question survey that was half asked, because later we got a hold of the survey and read all the questions, and I wouldn't have answered them the way I did had they been fully read. But anyway, so they give me this super strong med. I'm taking it. Not much is happening. Maybe feeling a little better, placebo effect. Then all of a sudden I started getting really sick. I was throwing up, and I don't know what was going on. And I guess I couldn't take my meds for a couple of days. And one morning I woke up and I was in the darkest despair I'd ever been in my life. I mean, I crying. I didn't even want to get out of bed. I mean, it was so powerful. It's been hard for me to think about these things because it's been so long. And it's certainly a memory I don't want to recollect very much. But I became suicidal. I didn't want to live. I didn't have a purpose to live. A friend of mine who's struggling with depression right now described it as Groundhog Day without the beautiful woman to pursue. If you've ever seen the movie Groundhog Day, you know, every day is the same, and he's stuck in this nasty cycle, except for in the movie, he's trying to impress this girl and get this girl to fall in love with him. So he keeps trying to...
And then eventually he gets it right, and then like happy ending and stuff.
Exactly, but in this case, there was no happy ending. There was nothing happy to pursue. And I mean, I was desperate. I was absolutely desperate. So I went to the doctor, told them what was going on. They increased my medication, gave me some additional meds, and it got worse. And this went on for months. I didn't want to see anybody. I didn't want to talk to anybody. My friends would call. I wouldn't answer the phone. It was the darkest time I'd ever experienced in my life. And the second med they gave me made it to where I couldn't sleep. So then things started getting worse and worse and worse to the point to where I felt I needed to be committed. So I actually tried to check myself in. I went to the clinic, or the mental hospital, if you want to call it that. I don't know what the technical term is. I went there and I told them what the problem was, and I'm scared. I'm afraid I'm going to hurt myself. I'm afraid I'm going to hurt somebody else. Help me. And they said, oh, well, okay. But my dad met me up there, and he sat down and listened with the doctor, listened to what I had to say, and the doctor said at the hospital said, well, we're going to take him in, we're going to double his meds. And my dad, thank God for his wisdom, he said, we think it's the meds that's causing the problem. She said, well, unless you're going to sign for him and take him, and I had to sign this little thing saying I wouldn't kill myself and all this. And we spent the next week or two going through withdrawals from these meds. Had to move in with my parents, stay almost, they monitored me around the clock as I come off these meds, just to make sure, I was okay. I never attempted anything. Nothing like that, but the thoughts were so overwhelming that I was so afraid I would. And you think that'd be the end of the story, but there was a long season where I was getting these major panic attacks. I mean, I would be in a restaurant, I'd have to leave. I'd be in a bookstore and I'd have to leave. I was a brand new Christian, so I didn't have anything really to lean on. Thankfully, my pastor at the time would come visit and try to talk to me. A couple Christians would try to talk to me, but I didn't want to hear nothing. The panic was so bad, so bad. And every time a panic came, I thought, oh gosh, am I going to fall back into that darkness again? And then the panic would increase and increase and increase. And that's why when I understand when he said in his story or wherever I read that, you know, becoming human again after that experience is insane. I mean, it took years for me to sort of figure out what was going on in my head.
Yeah.
The reality is, and this is the thing I've learned since then. First of all, I'm grateful for that experience. I mean, I'm beyond grateful. There was a long time. Why me, God? Why did you do that to me? How could you have done that to me? I just want to be normal again. There was a long time. And now I'm like, I understand why you did that to me. For years, I couldn't figure it out. Now I understand. It's because now I get it. I know what it feels like. I have compassion on those who are going through similar situations. I can speak to them. I can cry with them because I know the terror that they're experiencing in their condition. I understand. So in all the videos you've seen of me, when I say I understand, I do, because I've been through it. I really have. I have been through it. And there's hope. You're not alone. That's one thing. I felt alone. I was a, rap guy, hip hop guy. So I was like, man, I'm not like, if people find this out, they're going to think I'm soft, You're not soft. In fact, you're strong. You're able to carry such a thing as mental disturbance, and to carry that alone, because nobody can carry that for you. People can offer you advice. People can offer you medicine, suggestions, take you places, whatever. But you alone are carrying that burden for the most part, in one way.
Yeah.
In another way, you're not alone, because you do have a network of people that love you. Of course, Jesus, cares for you. Now, a couple things for me, just for you, if you're interested, the things that helped me the most. One was resting in God's sovereignty. That was the number one thing. As I started reading the scripture and learning more about God and started seeing that he was in control, not me, my anxiety settled. I'm no longer, oh gosh, what if I don't do this? What if I forgot this? What if? There's no what ifs.
Yeah.
Because God's orchestrating it the way it should be based on his will. I just get to be a participant in his will. That's a beautiful place of rest. I'm not worried about how I'm pleasing God, because God's pleased through Jesus. I don't have to please God. God's fully pleased because of his son Jesus' life, death, and resurrection. And I receive his righteousness vicariously through the gospel. It's mine. God sees me as righteous. He's not angry at me. He's not angry. He's not angry at me because I'm thinking these weird thoughts. Another thing I want to say is I'm no doctor, but it can get better. It really can. I mean, for the longest, I remember telling your mom, and I don't even know if I told her this, but I just remember envisioning in my mind that I don't care what happens, I'm going to make it through this for you. Okay, you were my main thought. I said, I don't care if I got to go to his football games in a straitjacket. I want you to play football at the time. You would have been a good quarterback, by the way. You're tall and very smart and athletic. But I said, I don't care what it is. So I kept my eyes on what I wanted to do. I didn't let my current situation drag me down, because the reality is, in your current situation, your mind isn't working properly. Your thinking isn't correct. So if you try to analyze your situation, you're going to analyze it wrong, because your mind isn't working properly.
Yeah.
So don't try to look internally, look externally. And that's where the gospel comes in. You really think about what's true, not what's false.
Thinking objectively.
Yes. And the Bible says in Philippians 4:8, at the conclusion of the book, Paul says, finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there's any excellence, if there's anything worthy of praise, think about these things. So the temptation is always to run to, particularly me with music, and a lot of you probably experience the same thing, is to go to a song that's dark. To have these emotions along with the music, and that's okay for a season, and there are times and places for that. But if you're in the darkness, you got to pursue the light. John 1:5, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. If you want the darkness to flee, you have to shine light on it. These are flashlights.
Yeah.
I don't know how you hold my phone. But you got to shine light in the darkness, and the light only comes from the gospel, biblical truth. Pursue that with all your might. Understanding that you're not the only one that feels this way, and it's not a sin. Moses, King David, Job, Jonah, Elijah, and many more people in the scripture struggled. When you read, you can see symptoms of depression. Read Ecclesiastes. He has a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, that is dark. You want to be depressed and suicidal, there's your book right there.
Even some famous theologians like Charles Spurgeon, right?
Yes. And you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. That was the first time it dawned on me that it's okay for me as a Christian to be depressed. One of the greatest preachers of all time struggled with major bouts of depression.
Yeah.
And that was comforting to me because I'm like, okay. And it makes us, in the same thing Spurgeon always said, it makes us long for heaven. Long for a place where we're not suffering anymore. A couple things, practical things, obviously. Change your thinking, rebuke the lies. I've told you before, we have ants, automatic negative thoughts. Everybody has ants in their head. These thoughts that just come automatically. Learn to dismiss them. That's an automatic thought. It comes. Let's evaluate it. Is it true or is it not? And dismiss it. Even if it's true, it's okay. You'll be okay. Diet. I changed my diet. At the time I was, I was drinking and things like that. And, I walked away from those things, because I knew those things were affecting my health significantly. Most of those things are depressants, they make you depressed. So walk away from those, trust in the sovereignty of God, think about the things that are pure and commendable and honorable and excellent, and find freedom in the gospel. Freedom in the gospel. This world is going to perish and pass away, and we're going to move on to glory in a glorified body without any issues in our minds. Whether you want to call it chemistry issues, thinking issues, whether you have issues from your upbringing, or whatever the case may be that has you where you're at, you won't always be there. There is literal hope, and it's the gospel. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow here on earth, but ultimately we will be rescued and you will overcome your situation. I don't know. Hope that wasn't too heavy. I felt like that might have been too heavy.
No, that was great. People need to know this.
Yeah, man, that was, I don't know. I held some stuff back just because it's a little too much for me to be this I don't know, vulnerable. Is that the word? Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. But you know what? I want you guys to know that because, again, I want you to know you're not alone in that, that I understand. And if you need someone to talk to, I'm not a suicide counselor or anything like that. You certainly should, if you're suicidal, you should certainly call the correct numbers or reach out to the correct people. I have all that down in the description. But if you're struggling a little bit, you just need someone to lean on, or you need a little bit of encouragement, just shoot me a message. I'd be glad to. I'll make priority out of those kind of messages. So send those our way. Well, that wraps up another video. Hopefully that was helpful to you. If so, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and shoot me a message if you have any questions. The best place to reach me is probably via email at rob@pastorrobberyacts.com, or even more so via social media, through direct message on Facebook or Instagram. I typically check those all the time. So if you have any questions, send them to me. I'll do my best to answer, or at least point you to some resources that'll help you. Until the next video, may the light of the Lord continue to shine on you. We'll see you on the next video. Peace.